It's time for math practice with Miss Flaherty. Here's what you'll need: a blank piece of paper and a pencil and an eraser. Feel free to pause and rewind the video as much as you'd like to work at your own speed. Hi, first grade mathematicians. I'm really excited for today's math practice, but before we get started, we have some shout outs. I have a really big shout out for one of my Georgetown friends, and that scholar is Kayla. Kayla has been rocking it with her YouTube math lessons. If you look really closely on the math practice lesson where we had to identify the unit in a repeating pattern and continue that unit, Kayla pulled out her crayons, showed all the colors, and was really careful to show her strategy of circling the unit, just like Miss Flaherty showed us in the video. I'm really excited to see all of your amazing work. So make sure that you snap a picture of what you do today and send it along to your teacher. I'm looking forward to it. All right, friends, today I'm really excited because we are going to be working with some tricky true or false inequality number sentences. In an inequality number sentence, we are comparing two values or two numbers. When we compare numbers, we think, which one's greater, which one's less, or which one's smaller? And sometimes we think, are they equal? Are they the same value? Now, before we get started, there are some important math symbols that I want to review. And I'm going to have two of my favorite friends, Annie and Moby, help you remember what those math symbols are. As you watch, your job is to think about the greater than symbol, the less than symbol, and the equal to symbol. And what do they mean? All right, enjoy.
How do you use symbols to compare numbers? There are plenty of pumpkins to pick. You can write a number sentence to compare numbers. Cool, you picked 16 pumpkins. That's more than Grandpop. This is the greater than sign. In a number sentence, the wider part faces the bigger number. 16 is greater than 10. This is the less than sign. In a number sentence, the corner points to the smaller number. So we say 10 is less than 16. Don't worry, you can make a picture in your mind to help remember the signs. I like to think of the symbol as an alligator. The alligator is hungry, so it always eats the bigger number. Mia has 6 pumpkins, and she's adding them to Grandpop's basket. That means Grandpop and Mia have 16 pumpkins. That's the same number as you, Moby. This is the equal sign. Both baskets have an equal number of pumpkins. The symbol shows that both sides of the equation equal the same amount. Anyway, Moby, I think I finally collected more stickers than you. Hey!
I hope that you had fun listening to Annie and Moby. One thing that Annie taught us about were those 3 important symbols that we might see in an inequality number sentence. Do you remember what they are? Awesome. The first symbol is greater than. The greater than symbol, the alligator's always eating the bigger number or the bigger value. Then there's the less than symbol. In this symbol, the alligator is facing the other way because it's still eating the greater value. And last but not least, we have equal to or the same as. Something that Annie forgot to mention is that it's really important that we're always reading our number sentences from left to right just like we would read a word sentence. So for example, I need to make sure I'm starting on this side and saying 10 is greater than 5. Over here, I need to make sure I'm reading left to right, just like I'd read my words. 5 is less than 10. In both of these inequalities, the alligator is still eating the bigger value. We just read it differently depending on which way the alligator is facing. Thumbs up if you got it. Great. I can't wait to put that to practice. All right, first grade friends. So for our first inequality true or false challenge, this is our inequality number sentence. Let's go ahead and read it, pretending it's made out of words. 10 tens plus 3 ones. How do I read that symbol? Good. Is greater than 100. Okay, my job as a mathematician is to decide, is this true or is this false? What strategy could I show? Good, I should sketch a place value chart and I should count up the value of each side of this inequality number sentence. For the first one, I'm going to do that with you. So go ahead and take a second to write down this inequality number sentence on your paper. This is really cool because sometimes number sentences can have words in them too. All right, now in Georgetown, we set up our place value chart just like this. Before I set that up, I'm actually going to draw a line right down the middle underneath my inequality symbol because I want to make sure I solve this side and this side to see if they're the same. Let's start with this side right here. I'm going to sketch a place value chart that looks like this. I'm going to sketch my hundreds, my tens, and my ones. All right, I want you to go ahead and sketch a place value chart underneath that side of the inequality number sentence. Great, now what should I draw on my chart to show 10 tens plus 3 ones? You got it. Let's go ahead and show 10 tens. I like to organize them in neat rows of, Georgetown knows, neat rows of 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And then I'll draw 3 ones. 1, 2, 3. What do you notice about our tens place? There's a lot of tens. What's the value of 10 tens? Let's go ahead and count by tens. Get ready, let's do it together. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100. 10 tens have the same value as 100. So what could I regroup my 10 sticks into? That's right, we can regroup them into a hundreds block. So I draw an arrow and I move them next door. Now they're in the form of a hundreds block. So what's the value of my picture? Good, my picture is worth 103 because I have 100, 0 tens, and 3 ones. We say this number 103. All right, we're getting close. But remember, our job is to figure out, is this inequality true or false? So now I know this side is worth 103. How can I represent this side? Yeah, that's an easy peasy one. 100 is just worth 100. I could even draw it as a hundreds block if I wanted to. So let's go ahead and read it now that we know the value of each side. You can read it with me. 103 is greater than 100. Our inequality symbol always eats the bigger value. So I would read this as 103 is greater than 100. So what do you think, friends? True or false? You're right. This one's true. So I'm going to go ahead and on my paper, I can put a check mark above that because it's true. And I can write T for true. Say we rocked it. All right, are you ready for our next challenge? Awesome. Go ahead and write this inequality number sentence on your paper. As you write it, try to read it out loud to yourself. Remember, we always read from left to right, just like we would read a word sentence. Awesome. We read this like 5 ones plus 12 tens is greater than 121. So on your paper, go ahead and split your workspace right underneath our greater than symbol. Because great mathematicians are going to solve both sides and see if they're the same. Set up your place value chart because I see some place value words like ones and tens, and we need to find out what's the value, oopsies, what's the value of this side. So I'm going to label hundreds, tens, these are our place values, and ones. All right, go ahead and sketch 5 ones plus 12 tens in your chart. Try to keep it super neat and organized like Miss Flaherty. Check out my neat rows of 5. So I've got 10, 11, 12. All right, we're not done with this side. What do we need to do next? Good. Did you notice that we have a lot of tens here? It's hard for me to count up the value in this chart. What should I make a group of in my tens place? You got it. Let's make a group of 10 tens. What's the value of 10 tens? You rocked it, 100. So I'm going to regroup it for 100. All right, let's count up what's in our chart. We have 5 ones. We still have 2 tens. And we have 100. How do I read that value? 125. Good job. So let's go ahead and read our inequality number sentence left to right, just like we would a word sentence, and see if it's true or false. 125 is greater than 121. So what do you think? True or false? Good. This is also a true number sentence. So go ahead and give it a check mark and write a big T for true. Nice work, friends. All right, first grade, are you ready for our last true or false challenge that we'll work on together? Awesome, I knew you were. Go ahead and write this down on your paper. As you write it, I want you to read it out loud, left to right, just like we would read a word sentence. So I would read this like 16 tens plus 2 ones is the same as or is equal to 100 plus 4 ones plus 6 tens. There's a lot of place value words in here. Let's split up our workspace and then go ahead and you'll need to sketch a place value chart on each side. All right, are your place value charts all set up? Great. Let's start with this side over here. We need to show 16 tens plus 2 more ones. That's a lot of tens. Let's keep them organized. Ooh, check out my neat rows of 5 there. All right, now what are you noticing? It's a lot of tens. What should we do as organized mathematicians to make this easier to count up the value? All right, first grade, let's go ahead and regroup. I'm going to make a group of 10 tens. What's the value of 10 tens? It's the same as 100. So I'm going to regroup that and exchange it for 100. So let's count up what we have. We have 2 in the ones place. Looks like we've got 6 tens and 100. So how do we read this number? Good, 162. All right, this is a lot of work for one question. Great mathematicians like I know my friends in Bucknell and Georgetown and BU and UT, we always show our strategies and solve both sides to see if they're the same. So go ahead and sketch 100. Be careful of 4 ones and 6 tens. All right, let's count up what we have. 1 in the hundreds place, 6 tens, and 4 ones. How do we read that number? 164. Okay, so now we need to read left to right to see if this is a true number sentence or a false number sentence. 162 is equal to or is the same as 164. What do you think, friends? True or false? You're right. This is false. It's not equal. Both sides don't have the same value. So you can actually cross out that equal sign and you can write F for false. Nice job, first grade. Now, I'm going to give you 2 challenge problems that I want you to do on your own. Remember, with inequalities, we always read from left to right, just like it's made of words. And as you're working on these challenges, I want you to carefully show your work, how you solve both sides to see if they're the same. Have your grown up take a picture of your awesome work and you can send it to your teacher. I can't wait to shout out my first grade friends in our next video. Bye, team. So here are your challenge questions. Feel free to pause the video so that you can write these down. Make sure that you solve both sides to see if they're the same. When you're solving, if you have to draw a place value chart to figure out the total value, then make sure you do that. Good luck, first grade!